Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Today I'm going to share with you 5 meals. This is what we had for dinner, so let's get started. If you don't know me, my name is Anna. I'm a mom of 2 little boys, and on this channel I share lifestyle, motherhood, and encouragement videos. And today I'm going to share with you what we had for dinner for a week. In our home, it's a bit complicated, I guess you could say, because I'm vegetarian and I don't really eat a lot of dairy, so I'm pretty close to vegan. And then my husband does eat some meat off and on, and our kids are pretty much vegetarian. But when it comes to cooking meals, I make pretty much vegetarian or vegan meals because everyone will eat that. So there's kind of a mix of everything, but in this video, all the recipes that I'm showing are vegan. And they're also inspired by Mexican food because I grew up in Mexico. I lived there for many years and my husband is from Mexico. So we eat a lot of Mexican food, and all of the meals that I'm showing you in this video are either true Mexican meals or else they're like Tex-mex inspired meals. So let's get started and I'll show you what we ate this week. So we're starting out with this taco salad. This is a really easy but flavorful meal that I really enjoy. I like to use whole beans. These are some that I just cooked myself, but we're gonna add some extra things to it to give it more flavor. I usually just use tomato sauce, but this day I had some extra spaghetti sauce left in the fridge, so I'm using that, and then just some extra seasonings for more flavor. Once it comes to a simmer like this, then you can turn it off because they're ready. I'm also going to be making a cheese sauce. The main ingredient for this vegan cheese sauce is nutritional yeast. So if you don't like the flavor of nutritional yeast, you might not like this recipe, but I really enjoy it. It helps the taco salad not to be so dry, and I really like the flavor that it adds too. I'll have the recipe for this cheese sauce in the description below in case you want to try it. Then I'm just going to chop up my veggies. You can use whatever veggies you would like. I usually just do tomato, lettuce, onion, and some avocado. For the kids, I'll usually serve each part separately like this. And then for me, I just pile it all in one bowl. The chips and the beans and cheese, and then the veggies on top. For my refried beans, I like to add these chilies to the oil. It doesn't make them spicy, but it adds lots of flavor. Then you just add in the beans, let them simmer, and mash them. And I'm also going to be making a salsa with these tomatoes and more of these chilies. They're called chile de árbol. First I make a paste with the blackened chilies and some garlic and salt. Once it looks like this, then I start adding the tomatoes in one by one and smashing them. This day I wasn't really feeling well, so this isn't necessarily a complete meal, but if you warm up some corn tortillas with it, it'll do. And my husband added some meat that he had saved in the fridge, so that made it a bit more complete for him as well. These potato flautas are really good. I start by putting some water on to boil. I'm going to add some tomatoes and chilies into this pot for the sauce I'm going to make. And then I'm gonna grab some potatoes and I'm gonna peel them and cut them into cubes. And then I'm gonna boil these potatoes in the water until they're tender. Then I'm gonna dice up some onion and tomato. Once the potatoes are ready, I strain them, and in that same pan, I saute the onion and tomato, and I add some paprika and some garlic powder. Once they soften up, then I add the potatoes back in and start to smash them. And this is going to be our filling for the flautas. And then when the tomatoes are ready to make the sauce, I add some garlic in the blender with the tomatoes, and I'm only going to add 1 chili to start with because I make 2 sauces, one that's very mild and the other one that's spicy. Add a bit of salt and then blend it up real good. Then I'll reserve about half of this, and to the other half I'll add the rest of the chilies, and then I'll blend it again, and this will be the spicy version. Then you want to grab some corn tortillas and some toothpicks. You want to warm the corn tortillas in the microwave for a bit so that they soften up and won't break. Then you add the filling and roll them up and keep it closed with a toothpick. I'm frying mine in oil, but you could also just brush them with a little bit of oil and bake them. This was a big fail because I used too deep of a pan and I ruined them. So here's my second attempt, and they're looking pretty good. Add some lettuce and your sauce, and these are delicious. I'm going to show you how I make my Spanish rice. I start by sauteing the rice with some diced onion and a whole clove of garlic. Once it starts to look golden, then I'll add the tomato sauce in. I was making 1.5 cups of rice, and I used 1/2 cup of tomato sauce. Add in some salt, and then for the rest of the liquid, just water. You always want to double the amount of water, so if you make 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water. Then I add a little bit of cumin, stir it up real well, cover it, and turn the heat down to low. And then I was just warming up these milanesas that I had left over from a different day. It's just breaded gluten. I served it with some refried beans, tomato, onion, and our Spanish rice. Homemade pizza. I actually make the dough myself, and it's delicious, and it's not as hard as you would think. You start by adding the yeast and a bit of sugar. Then you add hot water and whisk it together. You get your flour and you add salt. And once your yeast mixture looks foamy, then you add the flour in and start mixing. Add the oil, mix some more. And then let it rest for a bit. After about 5 minutes, you can uncover it and start to knead it. I just knead it until it feels nice and smooth and isn't sticky anymore. I'll have the recipe for this pizza dough in the description below. Once it's done, you want to let it rest for like another 5 minutes, and then you can divide it up and start forming your dough. I do have a rolling pin somewhere, but I can never find it, so I usually just use this cup and it works just fine. So I just roll it out until it's about the size of the pan I'm going to be using. And once they're ready, I put them in a warm area and cover them with a towel, and they can rise anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour or two, depending how much you want them to rise. Then I'm going to preheat my oven to 415 and start dicing up my veggies. I add my sauce, and then I put on some meat crumbles. This is just Dr. Prager's veggie burger that I crumbled up, and then I added some of the same cheese sauce that I used in the taco salad, my veggies, and I like to add some basil and some garlic powder. This one was for my husband and my brother. I did add cheese to theirs and to the kids' pizza as well, but mine is totally vegan. This is how it came out. It was really delicious and it wasn't hard to make. So if you haven't already, you guys should totally try making your own pizza dough. It's really good. So I hope that you enjoyed seeing these meals. Maybe you got some ideas. I'm always looking for new ideas for what I can eat because I get tired of repeating the same meals. So I always enjoy this kind of video to hopefully give me some new ideas. So if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos from me, subscribe in the button below. And I'll see you next time.